Welcome to Fireplace Conversations featuring Jerry Flenar at the BASS, the Buchanan Area Senior Center. We're so excited to be here enjoying these conversations. If you have not watched any of them, please go to the BASS, Buchanan Area Senior Center's Facebook page as well as the YouTube channel. You can watch other featured staff, board members, and also as we get into the community, our patrons. Today, Jerry's going to share with us about some of his past, especially about his time volunteering in the community. He has a lot of time here. But first of all, I just want to ask Jerry to share a little bit about you. How, working here, how long you've been in Buchanan?
Born in Buchanan, always been in Buchanan except for a short term in the service.
Oh.
So 73 years strong. Always lived here. Buchanan's been very good to myself and my family. So we feel very comfortable here and are glad we've remained here all of our life. So my wife also, she was born, we were high school sweethearts, and the rest is history. So.
Oh my gosh, yeah, his wife, you may or may not know, Leanne Flenar. Leanne and I actually worked together decades ago. Years have just gone by into decades up at Clark, up at the financial end of it. So that was good times. And Jerry, you mentioned that you was in the service, so that was not part of the questions, but just out of curiosity, which branch were you in?
I was in the Army. I have an honorable mention as captain of the Army. It's a long history, long story, but yeah, it was during the Vietnam time. I did not go to Vietnam, but it was during that time period.
Well, thank you on that. And I know one thing that I'm seeing Jerry in the senior center all the time. He is here. He helps out with the senior nutrition services. Him and Leanne do, and really just being the angel to those homebound people who are in need of food. And so he delivers Meals on Wheels. So what a beautiful place to be. I know that he also does a lot of other volunteering. So I'm going to hand it off to Jerry and have him just talk about him, his volunteer work, and all that fun stuff.
Well, yeah, two companies that I worked for encourage volunteering, and once you volunteer, you find out very quickly that you get back much more than what you give by volunteering. So it's always been a great feeling for me. I've continued to work and to volunteer. Well, I've been in the Lions Club for 42 years, so that's probably the longest one. That's probably the one nearest and dearest to my heart is the Lions Club. But other volunteering that I did, and I'm going to have to get out my cheat sheet, I was in the Chamber of Commerce for 16 years, most of those as president. I was on the school board for 13 years, 12 of those as president. I've been on Friends of the McCoy Creek Trail, Buck Teens, which again is kind of near and dear to myself, my wife, my sister, Donna Lace. I've been in Buck Teens for 12 years. I was on the school farm board for 30 years, so you kind of get a flavor for giving back to the community, which has been very good to us. So.
Yes. So how did you said work at a workplace,
right,
that kind of brought you into the volunteering
right,
work. What company was that kind of?
Well, the first one would have been Schneider Food Service. Actually, I take that back. The first one was Coca-Cola. I worked for Coca-Cola up in St. Joe, Michigan for 16 years. Started out just in the office and ended up regional manager for Coke. I left Coke and went to Schneider Vending here in Buchanan. I was operations manager until we were bought out by Canteen of Grand Rapids. Then Canteen of Grand Rapids was bought out by Canteen of Atlanta. And I remained a district manager and then was moved up to a regional manager with Canteen. So both of those companies encouraged people to volunteer. They gave you time off. As long as you got in your 60 hours a week, you could volunteer all you wanted.
So. As long as you get those 60 hours. Dude, that's wonderful. And so, was Lions Club since 42 years? Was that the first place that you went to volunteer?
You know what? The first thing I volunteered for was the Buchanan JCs, which no longer exists.
Oh, I remember the JCs.
Yeah, the JCs is kind of where it all started, and then that evolved into the Lions Club. Probably pretty close to the same time period. The one other thing that I'm quite proud of is in 2018, I was the Volunteer of the Year for Southwest Michigan. And usually that goes to North County. I think it's only been in South County maybe 2 or 3 times. So pretty proud of that event.
For the Lions Club?
No, this is for volunteering.
But just overall.
Overall.
With the hours that you do, things that you do.
Correct.
We're going to get a little
no,
hands
was,
for him. Awesome job. Thank
I
you.
was very proud of that moment. So.
Well, you should be.
Yeah.
That's a great accomplishment.
Yep.
Not a lot of people can even say they volunteer, so thank you. Tell me more about the Lions Club. What do they offer? What do they do? If somebody needs their assistance, what's
The Lions Club, 2 things. The Lions Club mainly is known for is helping children and people in need of glasses. We pay for eye care, we pay for glasses, and our motto is we serve, which kind of blends into the volunteering thing. Very proud of that. We do a lot of fundraisers around town. We did the corn and sausage roast. We just recently did the corned beef and cabbage, which was very successful. And then we donate back to Buchanan. We sponsor Little League teams, hockey teams. We give money to the Easter egg hunt. Again, that most of it going to kids.
okay?
So other than the glasses, which we will take care of anybody that's in need of glasses or an examination we pay for. So.
And the Buchanan Area Senior Center is a drop-off center for any kind of glasses that you would like to drop off. And we'll make sure that we give them to Jerry, the Lions Club, so they can be utilized and to live on. So that's wonderful. Now, with the Lions Club, I don't know much about the Lions Club.
Well, then maybe you should become a member.
Here we go. Look at the man. He is selling it.
There you go. We meet on every second and fourth Tuesday.
There you go.
You can come to our next meeting. How's that?
I sure come and observe. It is, yes. One of my favorite places I had volunteered for was at Lakeland in the infusion clinic in Niles.
Mhm.
That was a blessing. Then I wasn't working full time, so I was able to go in and do that once every week in the morning. And to meet the people was just...
Yeah, that's kind of the same with me now. I've been retired for 5 years, so my volunteering has ramped up.
Okay.
During COVID, I spent a lot of time just by myself out doing different projects for the trail, for Lions Club, whatever. I love my wife dearly, but it sure was nice to have a little separation. So.
Leanne, he does love you. You just said it. Going back to the Lions, how long have they been in?
Oh man, you're going to get me in trouble now.
Okay, well I don't want to do that.
No, I'm serious. No. It was started in Chicago by Melvin Jones, and I know I'm going to get the year wrong, but I think it was 1937, 38.
Okay. So
And Buchanan actually just celebrated their 87th year, so we were not far behind Chicago, and I think that was because of Clark Equipment Company had some pretty high up executives, and probably did some stuff in the Chicagoland area, and they brought Lions Club back to Buchanan, which is again we just celebrated our 87th year. So
that's wonderful,
Yeah.
amazing. There's really good things. And so if someone wanted to volunteer for the Lions Club, or if they needed their service, how would they go about?
Well, there's 35 members, so you could get in touch with any one of the 35 members. But our main person is Mark Nixon, who used to be elementary principal at Moccasin Elementary. He's retired. You know what? If you've got a hold of the senior center here, they certainly could refer it to myself, to Mr. Nixon. So yeah, that would probably be the best way.
So if somebody has children who needs glasses or in need of services, they would just contact him and they will go through a process?
Right.
Do they have to go through?
There's a paperwork process. Okay. It's very simple. It's not, it's a one-page fill out name, address.
Okay.
Then we refer them to the doctor that gives us a pretty good discount. I won't mention that at this, but
Right.
anyhow. And then if they need glasses, they get the glasses and the Lions Club pays for it.
Okay.
And the main fundraiser for the Lions Club for glasses is when we have White Cane Day, which is coming up
Oh.
April 30th and May 1st. You'll
Okay.
see Lions Club members on street corners, in grocery stores. I personally will be at McDonald's, so that's a pretty good spot because everybody's just starting to put their money away when they see you standing there. So we thank you everyone who donates to White Cane Day.
Great. I'll get some more information, and I will share that definitely on our Facebook page when it gets closer to the April 30th and May date. So please look for that. And if you have any kind of questions, just like Jerry said, please call us here at the Basque. Our number is 269-695-7119, and we can get you in touch to the person that you need to be in touch with. So really good information here. What else do you want to share with us regarding volunteering? What's one of your favorite memories, that something you just really just pulled your heartstrings and you said, this is why I'm doing this? And it could be any,
Wow.
we do.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
I remember one of the first few years I was in Lions Club, there was a young kid who was blind. His last name was Downing. Can't remember his first name because it was 35 years ago. But he needed a Braille machine, and we got him a Braille machine. And we also, I don't know the name of this child, but we also got a service dog for a young person who needed assistance who was blind. And service dogs are pretty expensive. I think it was in the area of like 12 grand or something like that. But we paid for that. So yeah, that kind of stuff gets you right there. So
it does.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, it does get you right there. For anybody. And then when you talk about a child and how, we just able to go outside and see the beautiful nature that we have, and to have that ability where you don't see that is really could be tough.
I can't imagine how that would be.
Yeah,
but,
I love my eyesight.
and it's also amazing to see how those people, blind people, operate. I mean, they adapt and they do pretty well.
Yeah, they
the
do.
Circumstances.
Right.
So, yeah.
They only know what they know.
They only know what they know.
That's true. And so this opportunity that the Lions Club does, and the volunteers, because with the volunteering, they're out there and they're raising money. So raising, like we just had the dinner with St. Patrick's Day and the other dinners that they have, the white cane things. So you also get to be a help with making happiness, bringing joy and happiness to children as well as in adults with glasses, is by you offering a donation, by you participating in the dinners and the white cane. So please, help us, or help Jerry and the members of the Lions Club pay back to these children and just give a pitching hand. So that's awesome.
Great.
Awesome. So with the chamber, you said he was on there for about 16 years.
Yes.
And then we had I can't read my handwriting, I need my glasses, the school board. And
I think that probably was very rewarding too, being on the school board. Fortunately, when I was on the school board, times weren't kind of rough like they are now with all the different stuff that they have to go through. Yeah. We had at that time we had a very good superintendent, Dave Casey, who kept the school board out of trouble. So yeah, it was a good experience.
That's good.
It was
That's
a good
wonderful
experience.
to have those kind of experiences.
Yes.
And you said the Buck teens. Did you say that was kind of important to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did they have Buck teens when you guys were in school or anything like that?
Well, they did, because it's this year will be the 38th year of. So they might not have had it when we were in school.
That'd be about my
Actually,
age.
I think it started in 1957.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, Buck Teens is a annual reunion of Buchanan alumni. You have to be out of school for 40 years.
Okay.
And once you're out of school for 40 years, you're invited to come to the Buck Teen reunion every year. We normally have it in June. Because of COVID this year, we're moving it to August 22nd. It will be at the high school auxiliary gym. And believe it or not, every year we have between 400 and 500 people that come back and attend this wonderful reunion. It's basically just a big social event for people. We try to sit people with their classmates, so they'll be, I graduated in 65, so all the 65 people will sit together, the 64 people. And last year we didn't have it because of COVID, but the year before, Marie Kangas was the oldest graduate in attendance, and that was her 82nd class reunion. And she was just as spry as could be. So.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a good time.
So
See,
yeah, share with us a little bit more this coming year's Buck Teens so people know if you're. So you need to be graduated from high school at least 40 years.
correct.
And they're going to be meeting at the Buchanan High School Auxiliary Gym there in town. So everybody who's been graduated, they will be notified?
Yeah, we have a list where we track about 700 people that we mail an invitation to, and we have about 1,700 people that we email an invite to. If you haven't attended for 3 years, you kind of fall off of the list because at that time we were just spending a ton of money on postage.
Right.
And so we thought, well, if you haven't been there for 3 years, maybe you're not interested. The interesting thing is when most people hit their 50th year, they want to come back.
Yeah.
So then we pick them up again and they go back on the list. But
Okay.
all people that have graduated are invited, but if somebody moves, we might lose their address if they change their email address. So please come. Don't not come because you didn't get an invitation. The invitation is open for all. But again, as a committee, we're a volunteer group, and it's just really hard to keep track of
It's a lot of work.
all those people. Actually, the secretary here at
Yes,
At,
our secretary
Joanne
here.
Dotson.
Yeah. Joanne, she is their secretary, so to speak, as well.
Correct.
Administrative assistant who helps Jerry and the committee for the Buck Teens to help organizing and doing things. So by chance, if you are graduating from Buchanan over 40 years ago, you have not received any information, when should they receive the first?
Our first mailing will go out in the middle of May.
Okay.
If we put it out too early, people get it and either throw it away or forget it by the time August rolls around.
Right.
But we're meeting April 7th, and then the committee will get back together. I believe it's May 6th, and that's when the invitations will be put together. That's when the email invite will go out. And then again, if you get that, please return it, because what happens is we try to seat people together. And if you come, you are invited. But if you come and don't tell us you're coming, you might not have a seat with your class. Or what happens is, like if Diane replied and I didn't, and I come, I would just go sit down with my class, and then she wouldn't have a place to sit. You understand?
Yep.
So please let us know you're coming. It's just a return email, or we actually provide a postcard where you just have to fill in what year you graduated and your name and how many are coming, and then we take care of seating you with your class. So very simple,
Yeah,
just a good social event to get together. So
that's wonderful.
yeah,
That's,
it is.
that's
It's
fun.
a good time.
I know, like in our class, we have our class reunions, but a lot of people are friends with people a few years younger, a few years older
Correct.
than they are. Then you kind of lose track of time.
Or
And-
if you're old enough like me, my parents, when they were alive, we would go because, of course, we knew their friends, and so
Yeah.
we would see them, and
Yeah.
so it is a good time.
It's a great time to socialize and get caught up, be with friends you haven't seen in a while.
Right.
So you are you volunteer. So we got the Lions Club currently. Currently you are with the Buck Teens,
Correct.
and you are doing some senior nutrition services.
Correct.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Senior service.
Yeah, the Meals on Wheels.
Every Thursday, my wife delivers Meals on Wheels. Periodically, if the weather's bad, I will drive for her. I think we deliver about 21 meals on Thursday, and of course it's delivered Monday through Friday, so we just happen to do Thursday. Again, it's a good feeling. You're doing something to help out somebody that can't get out. Actually, the meals look pretty inviting. I get to pull them out and put them in a sack. So,
Yeah. In the past Fireplace Conversations featuring Jess Minks, he and I talked a little bit about service and helping others. And one thing that we talked about in that conversation were there's a lot of people who was working, had jobs. Buchanan has a lot of industrial area back in the industrial times, and a lot of people lost jobs. They lost pensions. They lost a lot of things. So the people who are using the services, it is a service, are people who you would not think of just because they're hardworking. They've done all the right things, and they applied themselves. But unfortunately, some of the things we've seen in the last 30, 40 decades, the industrial world has changed so much. So that is a wonderful service that the Senior Nutrition Services of Southwest Michigan puts on and offers. If you or somebody else you think may be interested in that, please give us a call. It's actually, you can call us here at the Senior at 269-695-7119. Ask for Carrie. Carrie is an employee through the Senior Nutrition Services. They actually have a hub here, and they hand out meals with a 5-mile radius of the Senior Center for the Buchanan area. If you're out of that area, you can go ahead and give us a call. Give her a call at this number, and she can direct you to where you need to talk to.
that's one good thing about Buchanan, going back to the 50s and the 60s. At one time, Buchanan employed probably 7,000 to 8,000 people with Clark equipment and Electro-Voice. Those jobs are gone. There was about 14,000 people that came into Buchanan every day. So the gas stations and everything, were doing extremely well back then. But Buchanan has bounced back.
Yes.
Buchanan's very viable right now. It's a good feeling to live here. We have a lot of volunteer groups that do good things that help the city, I think, and it's a good feel.
It is. There's a lot of coming back from Buchanan. I graduated from Buchanan.
Right.
And
So are you old enough to come to Bucking?
not yet. Oh, well, I'm getting
man.
close. I graduated. I think Joanne was saying another year or two. I graduated in '83.
Oh, I think it's 82 this year. So
Okay, so yep. So
next
I'm
year
getting
you'll
there.
be there.
I'll be there. But with the scarecrows, with the the thrill of the hills when that comes back, and there's so many different organizations here in Buchanan, and you can just see it walking down the street and seeing people. It is really a wonderful community, and heck, you know what? We are the
Friendliest city.
Friendliest city. There you go.
Friendliest city in America.
So that's
First of
pretty
all, we
amazing.
thought it was in the state, but then it went to in America. So
Yeah. So that's wonderful. Are there any other volunteering work that you're doing at this time?
Well, the big thing that I'm working on right now is the McCoy Creek Trail.
Okay.
We're going to extend the McCoy Creek Trail. It currently ends at Shermer Parkway in the parking lot there.
Mm-hmm.
We're working on a project with the county and the state to extend that all the way down Shermer Parkway till it hits River Street. Then it will go across the Walton Street Bridge up into River St. Joe. That'll be phase 1. Phase 2, which I might not be here to see, will be from River St. Joe out to Old 31, which will connect with the Niles to Berrien Springs Trail. So you will be able to either walk or bike, quite a distance. So
That is huge.
but we're raising quite a bit of money. We have to raise a lot of money for local grants and for
Okay.
engineering costs. So we're in the process of doing that right
Okay.
now. And Buchanan, again, is coming around very strongly. I'm in charge of most of that fundraising, and we're not at our goal, but it's easily within sight. So
Great. Look for those fundraisers as well, people. They do help.
absolutely.
So wonderful. Now, what did the McCoy Creek Trail? Do you know when that kind of started out?
It was going before I joined the group, but it's probably been there for 20 years. It's a 5-mile long trail, again, from Shermer Parkway. The one thing that the state really likes about our trail is that it goes through the downtown area. It brings people downtown. Most trails take off and, they just go, which is fine.
Right.
But the state loves the fact that ours goes through downtown, and it ends up out close to Bakertown, out behind the bog out there along the railroad tracks.
Okay.
Someday, we hope to take it from where it stops out that way, across that bog, over to Bakertown Road, and then we can get out into the area where the Apple Century Cider riders, they do a 100-mile run out there.
Yeah.
So, you could basically leave Buchanan and do that trip too, but that'll be after our Shermer Parkway extension, so yeah.
Well, congratulations. That's wonderful. Living the dream, making dreams, and making dreams for our children, our grandchildren, great children. It's just to keep the community viable and a place where people want to visit and live.
Yep.
And bringing that is so important. That is so wonderful. Anything else you want to let us know about you, or you want to share?
No, again, been married for 52 years to my wife Leanne, and we have 2 children and 5 grandchildren who are kind of the highlight of our life. So yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, that's weird. I think when I worked with Leanne, I remember, I think your son was going off to college or was in college.
He went to, actually, my wife and I and our daughter all went to Western Michigan. And
Okay.
we were hoping Matt would become a Bronco, and he decides to go to Central and becomes a Chip.
Well,
but as long as he went to college, we were fine with that. So.
Well, I'll let you know my youngest daughter is at Western.
Oh, cool.
Yes, she is finishing, this is her last semester, school-wise, right, academics, and she is in early development education. So next fall, she has her last semester of internship. So she's really excited about that.
Cool.
Yeah. What do you like to do in your, well, do you have any free time? You like to volunteer in his free time.
Yes, I like to hunt and fish.
Okay.
My wife and I have a cabin down on Bachelor's Island, just out in the river down there.
Yeah.
So we have a pontoon boat and a speedboat that we spend a lot of time down there in the summer with the grandkids, skiing and tubing and just sitting around having a good time. Charlie's our little dog. Charlie and I spend a lot of time down there. He loves to run around down there because at home he's kind of confined to our yard down there. He's got the run of the place, so he thinks he's king dog down there. So.
That's a beautiful stretch on the river from the Buchanan Dam down to the.
Yeah, it's about an 8-mile run, and it's pretty wide open the entire way. So yeah,
it's nice. I've been on there
a lot of fun.
A few times. So, what makes you laugh?
My kids, my grandkids, they get into some talks that I don't think we did with our parents when we were growing up, but their dinner time talks are so amusing that sometimes Leanne and I just go there just so we can have a few laughs, especially during COVID. They would get into some talks that, man, we never did, but I think it's good. I mean, they're learning about life and sharing life and some things you don't want to hear, but they just blurt it out there, so it's a good time.
Good.
Yep.
Very good. And for last of all, what bit of wisdom would you like to share with us?
Well, I'm going to read it if you don't mind.
Oh, no, perfect.
When I won the Volunteer of the Year award in 2018, this was at the bottom of the award, and it says, "When you give someone your time, you are giving a portion of your life you will never get back." I shouldn't get emotional. Your time is your life. That is why the greatest gift you can give someone is your time.
This is why I love...
The greatest gift you can give is your time.
Yeah, this is why I love Fireplace Conversations, is we get to know people and to share the importance of their passion. And throughout our lives, our passion changes. And to talk to these patrons about what really speaks to them, and listening to Jerry, I'm so grateful for you today, and to share this moment with us.
Thank you for having me.
And you're right, our time is everything, and it's
You're
how
not going to get it back.
no. So it is how we spend it with our family, how we spend it with our friends, and what kind of position, working wise, that you want to choose to work at. I'm very lucky. I have a great career, and being where I'm at, so I'm very blessed. And choosing that time, and then giving it forward, paying it back, and so you have inspired me. I do need to decide where I want to share my volunteer time work and find out a group that I'm very passionate about and how I can pay it forward. Like I said, when I was at the infusion center, that was wonderful. That was in memory of my mom who had cancer, and she was at this infusion clinics and wanting to help back to the people that helped my mom to make her days, a little bit brighter. So thank you.
I will say, for people that have not been at the Buchanan Senior Center, this is an amazing place. They have so many activities, and they're so well organized. The building is extremely nice. I think they have a plan maybe in the near future to expand the building out to that area out there. So if you have any extra stimulus money, you might want to make a donation to the Buchanan Senior Center for their building in of the porch area, I guess is what it's called. So
yes,
it's a great center.
Yeah, it is. It's wonderful. And we are looking to add a little porch area so we can utilize that year round. We do have an annual appeal, and that money that is being donated will go towards that project. And once we have that money in place, then that will go into fruition. And it's a place where we can have cars, we can play games, we can have classes, we can sit and just chat. And like I said, with the windows that they're looking at, we can use it year round.
It's going to be a little more like a 3-season room, or
yes.
maybe 4, but yeah.
Yeah, something
be
like
very
that.
Nice.
Yes. So, and also we do see volunteer work if you're looking, just like with Leanne and how Jerry helps out with the Meals on Wheels. That's through Senior Nutrition Services. We also offer medical transportation to our patrons in the Buchanan area, getting them to doctor's offices for their appointments. So we're always looking for people who are like to volunteer for the driving on that. It's very simple, just a form that you need to fill out and leave a background check. Thank you.
Diane will learn this very quickly, but I'll leave you with one last thing. Once a buck, always a buck.
Once a buck, always a buck. I lived in Buchanan, graduated Buchanan, and haven't been here. Oh my gosh, I think I moved out in '97. I live in Niles, so I'm very close. And my dad lives over in Sampson Terrace, and I have friends who live in Buchanan, so I have been in and out of Buchanan, meeting for dinners or visiting events, music, such as. But when I started to drive back to Buchanan in the mornings to work, it was very surreal at first. I'm like, wow, this is really weird. Because I worked in downtown South Bend in different areas, and Niles. So I've been very fortunate. I worked in Buchanan for many jobs. I worked at LaSalle. I worked up at Clark. My first job was at Rody Shoes. Worked at Milano's throwing up pizzas. Yeah. So seeing faces that I haven't seen for so long, and people I've worked with, and sharing time with them, has been wonderful. Jerry, thank you so much. You are amazing. He is always around doing things. He's a busy man. We appreciate everything that you do and everything that you bring, and sharing your wisdom about time. Thank you so much. We're so blessed. Everyone, you have a wonderful day. We do appreciate it. Remember, you can watch this on the YouTube channel as well as our Facebook channel. Check our other videos that we have of past Fireplace conversations, meditations, exercise programs. There's a lot out there. We're building our library as we're speaking. So thank you so much. Have a blessed day. Thank you.